Welcome everyone, this is On This Restart, and this time we're talking about the rival in Metroid Prime 4. So the reason we're talking about this today is because not too long ago we saw an update to the banner art for Retro Studios' Twitter page, and there was also some marketing going on. Basically, we're seeing what appears to be some sort of promotional material for Retro Studios that's absolutely Metroid Prime centric, and the speculation is right now is that it's concept art for Metroid Prime 4. And there are even some ideas being thrown around that the imagery is suggesting that there's not just Samus there, but something else, something dark, something that is antagonistic to Samus, and the speculation has been, by myself included, that it could be related to Sylux, a rival of Samus in previous Metroid games, and could perhaps be the big rival in Metroid Prime 4. So today we're going to be talking about who the rival will be for Samus in Metroid Prime 4, and why it's probably going to be Sylux. Now before we jump into things, let me first very quickly talk about my social media. You may see a few different things here on screen, you can check that all out. It is linked in the description below, and of course, if you like what you're seeing here, you can subscribe, or perhaps even consider joining as a member. So throughout the Metroid series, oftentimes there has been this motif of a rival for Samus. And when I say rival, I mean another character of a similar shape or form that can fight at ends with her, that can match up with her relatively well, and they both can have a bit of a shootout. That's kind of what I'm alluding to here, and that's what we've seen many times in the past. We saw it in Metroid Fusion, we saw it in Metroid Dread, we've seen it throughout the entire Metroid Prime series, so this time around it seems like perhaps that could be happening as well. But why does it appear to be happening again this time? Well, we don't know that for a fact, but this is what we do know. We do know that there is this character, Sylux, a hunter from Metroid Prime Hunters, who is following Samus at the end of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. That was the final little cliffhanger left by the initial trilogy for Metroid Prime. And in 2015 we had confirmation from Kensuke Tanabe, the Metroid Prime producer, that that is indeed Sylux following Samus. But what's interesting, Metroid Prime Federation Force came out, and at the end of that game, we see Sylux stealing a Metroid egg. So basically we know that Kensuke Tanabe has a plan for Sylux when it comes to Metroid Prime 4. And given that in Metroid Prime 3, Dark Samus, who was Metroid Prime, is completely destroyed and obliterated, there needs to be a new Metroid Prime for Metroid Prime 4, or else why call it Metroid Prime? So what I believe is going to be happening here is that stolen Metroid will become the next Metroid Prime in Metroid Prime 4. But the humanoid rival will not be the Metroid that will evolve into some sort of Dark Samus-like creature or character, but rather it will be Sylux. Sylux stole that Metroid egg. Sylux is at odds with the Federation, and Samus works with the Federation. So there's definitely a situation here where their paths could cross and converge, and there will absolutely be some conflict. And it's clear from Metroid Prime 3 that Sylux has something for Samus. He's holding something against her or for her, or else why would he be following her? So there's something there that we could be learning about in Metroid Prime 4. And let's go back to this banner art from Retro Studios' Twitter page here, because people have been looking at this and thinking that maybe there's some allusion or reference to something beyond Samus there. When you take a look at the shadow that is coming from Samus, it doesn't seem to be entirely matching up correctly. There does seem to be an ominous sort of dark looming sort of idea or atmosphere to this imagery, and when the shadow doesn't quite match up with Samus, it almost seems to be a bit angular, similar to perhaps Sylux. I do think there is perhaps a possibility that this concept art might be suggesting an idea like that. It's also entirely possible that it's just a weird shadow and that's it. But still, it's something worth suggesting, and based off everything we've already discussed, Sylux will indeed be in some way involved with the story already, and it is a likely candidate to be Samus's rival, given that Sylux has already been a bit of a rival to Samus in the past. And based off Federation Force with him stealing the Metroid, he may very well be the inciting incident for the entire Metroid Prime 4 story. Now some may be wondering or thinking, maybe we could see Dark Samus. In my opinion, I don't think so. I don't think that will be another rival to Samus. Could there be multiple rivals? Yes, but I don't think it will be Dark Samus. The Metroid Prime trilogy concluded that idea. It had to do with this super powerful, super sentient, intelligent Metroid Prime, and it obtained the powers and mutated into Dark Samus, but Samus dueled her repeatedly, and eventually Dark Samus was entirely destroyed by the end of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. So I don't think they're going to be bringing Dark Samus back. I think they're going to do something different. I think Sylux and this new Metroid, and perhaps something else darker new, will be the antagonistic forces for Samus. Now, one likely candidate for another rival to Samus in Metroid Prime 4 is Ridley. Why? Because Ridley is a series staple. He's usually in every single game. There are exceptions, but usually, similar to Ganondorf and Bowser. So yes, I think Ridley's another likely candidate to be Samus's rival in Metroid Prime 4. But Ridley's more likely to be more of a giant, powerful boss as opposed to something that is of comparable stature and strength. But what do you guys make of the potential rival for Samus in Metroid Prime 4? Could there be something else? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, everyone, this is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.